Look at human history. For thousands of years, every single day was a fight. Every single day, our ancestors fought winter, they fought predators, they survived starvation. And today? Today, we fight buffering screens. We get angry if our food delivery is 5 minutes late. We've traded the brutal wilderness for the comfort of a perfectly temperature controlled living room. Looks like we won at life, doesn't it? But what if this very comfort is the greatest threat to our minds? There's a concept in psychology called evolutionary mismatch. Let me explain what that means. Evolutionary mismatch means our brains evolved to survive dangerous, high stress situations. We are wired to fight obstacles, overcome problems, stay alert, protect. And suddenly, in today's world, all our problems are solved with the ease of a click. So, what happens when you take a brain built for struggle and put it in absolute ease? It doesn't find comfort, it actually starts to rot. Over a century ago, Friedrich Nietzsche warned us about the last man. A wretched creature so obsessed with comfort, warmth, and safety that it avoids all suffering at all costs. He simply blinks, exists. Ancient philosophies, from the Stoics to the Rishis, have focused on one fundamental truth. A truth that we have so desperately tried to engineer out of existence. The fire that burns is the fire that purifies. Growth lives exclusively in discomfort. Purpose is forged on the anvil of friction. Take a second and think about it. How much of your thinking have you outsourced? Psychologists call this cognitive offloading. It is the act of using external tools to reduce the mental work that you have to do. Sounds like a great life hack, doesn't it? But your brain works on a very simple principle: neuroplasticity. When you let a machine do the heavy lifting for your brain, the neural pathways responsible for deep focus, complex calculations, even patience for that matter, they physically start to weaken. Researchers call part of this the Google effect or digital amnesia. We tend to forget information that we think we can easily access. We aren't just making ourselves lazier, we are actively training ourselves to be less competent and capable of forming an independent thought. AI isn't just a tool, it's a cognitive pacifier. And this isn't an accident. Your weakness is actually highly profitable. In the 1930s, psychologist B.F. Skinner performed an experiment with rats and pigeons, where he placed them in boxes and taught them how to press levers for food. Soon after, he discovered something terrifying. When you randomly start rewarding, once they get food, once they don't get food, they will press the lever obsessively, completely hooked. And what gets them hooked? The uncertainty. The animal will go completely crazy. It's called a variable ratio reward schedule. It's exactly how slot machines work. It's also how your phone works. Every time you swipe down on your feed to refresh it, you are the pigeon pressing the lever. You don't know if you'll be greeted with a boring post, a scandalous news, something disturbing, or just a hilarious video. It is exactly this unpredictability that then spikes your dopamine, which is what keeps you trapped. The people who built these platforms are using basic behavioral psychology to hijack your attention. They know exactly what they are doing, because a distracted mind is a profitable one. But why does this matter on a global scale? You must be wondering, what does your phone have to do with world leaders and war? In 1960, psychologist Martin Seligman discovered learned helplessness. It's when an animal or a human, when exposed to stress that is beyond their control, eventually just gives up. It's when they have an open door in front of them and they can escape, yet they will stay there and take the pain. We are bombarded with massive, terrifying global news all day long. Economic crashes, wars, tragedy after tragedy that makes us feel completely powerless. And at the same time, we are given a world of hyper-convenience to numb out that pain. And what does this do? This creates the perfect citizen for a completely corrupt system. You are too powerless and too helpless to do anything about the bigger things like wars that obviously is only benefiting the elites, and too comfortable to risk rebellion. World leaders don't need to rely on force to control you. They just rely on cognitive fatigue. If you spend all your mental energy fighting the algorithm or worrying about curated news and letting AI do all your thinking, you don't have enough time left to question the system. They don't want you dead. They just want you distracted. So you must be wondering how you fight an invisible war. You shift your locus of control. Locus of control is a psychological term for whether you think you control your life or external forces control it. Right now, the algorithm is driving the car. You need to put your hands back on the wheel. The first step is actively seeking out friction. Understand, discomfort is the only place where growth happens. Read a book without your phone, without getting distracted. Sit in a room with zero stimulation for 10 minutes. Let yourself get bored. Solve a problem without the help of a machine. You have to rebuild your mental muscles. The battlefield isn't a trench on the other side of the world. The war is happening right behind your eyes. You need to start doing your own thinking, or someone else will gladly do it for you.